All right, guys, we're back. Hopefully, this time we'll be able to get through this time. So we had some good comments going there too for a little bit. Yeah, there we are. We're back up. All right, I see you. I can hear you. So let's hope it stays that way, Tommy. Let's see. We got nobody watching, which is great. There we go. We're back up. All right. Yeah, you're getting a little choppy, your image, but hopefully your audio doesn't chop in and out. So I think it's this whole Oscar thing. They're sending out a signal to keep, us, because we draw such a huge crowd. They're trying to keep us from doing our thing tonight. So I do like the NCAA debate. I do think the NCAA needs to really step back. How would you fix that problem, though, Tommy? How would you fix it?
The free market.
Okay. Explain.
I would create a free market. Right now you don't have that. You have a monolith. You have a rule-making body that rules over one schools, almost 3 schools, and a couple of hundred Division II schools, and makes all the rules for all of them irrespective of their personal needs, of their particular needs, desires, philosophies, resources, which is why you have a school like Wagner College who plays by the same rules as the University of North Carolina. It's absurd. If you got rid of the NCAA, what you would do is you'd naturally have alliances between teams that are similar. And they would set up a system that works for those 60 teams. And there might be another 50 teams that would set up a system that works for them. And another 50 and another. And the other business. But instead, what you have is a team like, Wagner and FDU and LIU trying to, keep up with or emulate in some way Arizona State and North Carolina. And it's just impossible to do so. And the loser is always the athlete. Always.
Yeah, there's no way that a Wagner can keep up to a Florida State, North Carolina, even these mid-level schools like Virginia or a George Mason or something like that. You just can't keep up. Not in that way anyway. I saw something interesting today in the NCAA, and I think it speaks to the level of talent at the highest level of the NCAA and the lowest level of the NCAA. Even at the Division I level, there are different levels. You know that.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
that.
Absolutely.
Right? Because there was
Absolutely.
a woman on the softball team today who hit the home run cycle. Did you see this? Do you know what the home run cycle is?
No, I don't.
Okay, so she hit a solo home run, a 2-run homer,
okay.
a 3-run homer, and a grand slam. So in a game against Southern Illinois University, she was from Oklahoma. Right. So, really, you're playing Southern. But that just goes to show you the talent disparity, how the higher level schools have all this talent, and they just crush these low level schools like it's not even a game at that point. You have somebody on the other team hitting 4 home runs in the first 4 innings of a game.
You make a great point that I've been trying to make for 20 years. And what's happened is because of the player pool diminishing, the difference between the high-level Division I team and the lower-level Division I team has never been greater. So the mismatch is unprecedented. So it's even more important to get the Wagner colleges and the, Providence doesn't have baseball anymore, but teams like FDU and Fordham and all these other Northeast kind of schools that are bound by the weather, is to get them away from, in every single way, the Arizona States, the North Carolinas, the USCs, and the Cal State Full, all those elite schools, and they really only are about 50 or 60. Those schools need to play by a completely different set of rules and play against each other and go to Omaha. And the other schools should have their own World Series. I mean, the reality is those schools have no chance of ever winning their last game. They don't. They have no chance. It can't happen. Wagner College cannot win its last game in a playoff. Bryant University can't win their last game in a playoff. None of these schools have a chance of doing that. And if they did, I just think it would be much more competitive, and there'd be less of an arms race and the pressure on these smaller schools who have fewer resources to act, behave, and look like these larger schools. And also, they wouldn't be going to Florida and getting their brains beat out early in the winter, and coming back 1-12. They could play against each other.
Yeah, in the warmer weather places, you go because you're going to make that. You're going to make that trip anyway.
Right.
You're going to go down to South Carolina, Florida, whatever.
Right. Go and convene in Florida somewhere and play against each other. There is no merit to going to the University of Arizona, losing 19-3, 12-2, and 17-4. None. I don't care how nice the facility is, how good the weather is. You're getting your brains beaten. You're wasting your time. You're spending your money. There's no redeeming value to any of that.
Dan Ford just brought up a good point. The NCAA was talking about having a North and a South league, which would be great, but they have to institute that. And they have to stick by those rules and make sure that those teams play amongst themselves and occasionally step outside, because who doesn't love it when an underdog team goes down to Florida, plays them in one game, and winds up coming close to beating them or actually beating them. So that's always fun.
Which is the worst thing that can happen, because then you go back for the next 10 years and you don't win any games. I'll say this. My argument goes more to the structure of, I don't think anything good could come of this unless you obliterate the NCAA. I have seen for a long time the NCAA wreak havoc over intercollegiate sports and especially baseball. The NCAA has done nothing over the last 25 or 30 years that has done anything to grow the game, to make the game more interesting, to expand the game, or to expand players' ability to play. It's done just the opposite. Guys' ability to play, it's legislated the fall out of existence. It's now mandated only a certain amount of games can be played. So even if you're a team in the Northeast, have an aggressive schedule and an ambitious schedule, you can't, because you're limited to 56 games. And that cannot be good for the player, and it's certainly not good for the game.
Good points. And it's not publicized as much as what Renee just said. And I think that's the NCAA, splitting up the divisions. Andy Diorio just jumped on. I think this conversation's about ready to go way out of whack and start talking about the Mets for some weird reason. I don't know.
The NCAA sucks. Yes. The NCAA, I'm sorry, it does. I've also seen what the NCAA has done, is because it's so rule laden, is it's silent. You go to a college baseball game, you will not hear a sound. Why? Because every rule, if you look at the NCAA rule book for baseball, the word that's the most prominent is the word ejection, or how you can get yourself thrown out of a game. So what you've done now is you've rendered the athlete dead. He doesn't participate as much, because if you're afraid of getting thrown out of the game, what you're going to do is you're going to defer to saying nothing. It is literally dead silent. These are the best, and they don't make a sound. I got to beg them to say something. And I'm not talking about idle chatter. I'm talking about stuff that's probative, that you need in a game where you're talking to your pitcher, you're communicating. They do none of the direct result of the NCAA's heavy-handed rulemaking.
Yeah, we are breaking up again. You're breaking up again a little bit in that last little segment. Victor Coco threw in there. He said the NCAA net worth in 2018 was $400 million. So it's not $1 billion. It's not, it's not like the NFL or anything like that. But I think that's an undervalued number for the NCAA. So that doesn't make any sense. So, the NCAA needs to take a step back. Are they going to in our lifetime, Tommy? I don't think so. I don't think this is about the NCAA doing something. The NCAA has ostensibly pulled the wool over everyone's eyes for a long time. The only reason why the NCAA has any power is because the schools give them the power. Once the big schools turn around and say, we don't want to be a part of the NCAA anymore, the NCAA is out of business. It doesn't do anything that the member schools can't do for themselves. Yeah. Absolutely, and then that's the thing. That's the issue. You have to, and I think there's too many schools that are embedded in the NCAA and have good deals with the NCAA, and who are big schools that control that. Wagner could drop out, Fordham could drop out, LIU could drop out, Monmouth could drop out. Nobody's going to blink an eye. Nobody's going to care. You can go wherever you want.
Something has happened, because these super conferences and and the BCS and things like that are in direct NCAA. That was spearheaded by the conferences. That was not an NCAA move. Those conferences said, this is how we're going to do it. Look, Notre Dame football basically operates the same way. They tell the NCAA, listen, this is the deal. They make their own television deal. So it's not without precedent. What it does need, you're absolutely right, is the first domino to fall. A school like Stanford to say, you know what? We're going to start to lay the groundwork for a super conference. We're going to have 30 schools, and we're going to play by our rules, and we are not going to with the National Collegiate Athletic Association. Once that happens, the NCAA had better look for a new tenant in their buildings.
It's a good point. So moving on from the NCAA conversation, I think you made your point. It's not a good organization. It should, well, like you said, it's not going to change what it does, but schools need to start taking a look at doing their own thing and creating their own conferences. That would be great, but again, I don't think it's going to happen in our lifetime. I was watching a spring training game today, which they're always exciting, Tommy. You know that. As a matter of fact, I think we lost you. Can you hear me? Nope, we lost him. Darn it. But he does look good. He does look good, doesn't he? Because he's kind of frozen up right there. Let me bring him back. I'm going to disconnect. I'll bring Tommy right back. Are you there? Are you there? All right. Is your wife watching like Netflix or something?
No, she's watching the Oscars.
Oh, all right. She's not streaming anything right now, is she? Is she eating up bandwidth? All right. So you're back. You're back. So enough with the NCAA talk. Let's get into. I was watching a spring training game today, and you know how exciting those are, right? Spring training games. They're number 75 is up. Who the hell's number 75? I've never heard of this guy. But here's the one thing that. One of the announcers said while they were talking about pitching at the major league level, and they got into this conversation about if a pitcher doesn't throw mid to high 90s, they won't even look at him anymore. They won't even think about signing him. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm going, really? I'm like, really? Because if a guy throws 92, a guy throws 91 consistently, has great movement on his stuff, right? His fastball sinks hard. It's like he's throwing a cannonball in there, breaking bats, getting a lot of ground balls. He has a nice slider, and he has a good changeup. You're telling me a guy at that level, he can't compete and he can't contribute? Greg Maddux is the prime example of that. Where are these announcers getting this information where you have to throw mid to high 90s? Otherwise, you're not even going to get a look at it.
I don't know. I do 5 teams in the major leagues last year that averaged under 92 miles an hour fastballs. So there is room for guys who don't throw 100 miles an hour. Look, I'm seeing an attempt to dramatically change the way pitching looks in baseball. And yeah, I guess if you expand the rosters and everybody throws one inning and they throw as hard as they can, falls off, 2 years from now, which is what happens. Because it's a max effort every pitch. Yeah, I guess everybody's got to throw 95 miles an hour. But the reality is that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get outs. And you can get outs. What's the kid with the Cubs? Hendrickson. Look, Tanaka. There are plenty of guys in the major leagues, especially left-handers, who don't throw 95 to 97 miles an hour and have a tremendous amount of success.
Yeah, I just don't. But that's the mentality. These announcers are talking like that, and the kids are watching and listening. And they're hearing, if I don't throw 95 miles an hour, I got no shot. That makes no sense to me, because
I don't know of any. Well, it's rare when a kid comes off the mound that the first thing he doesn't do. It's rare that he doesn't ask what his velocity was. It's rare. That's You know what? We have nobody to blame but ourselves. That's what we've created now. They are obsessed with it. It's all they want to know. And whenever they ask, I always ask them a question. How hard would you be throwing if you didn't know how hard you were throwing? So now the barometer for success is not getting outs. It's how hard you throw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. When the barometer should be, did you just get 1, 2, 3 inning,
Right.
or did you give up 5 runs? You know, did you get in a jam and work out of it and get out of that
But
jam?
they're one step ahead of you. They're one step ahead of you. Kids are smart. They're not stupid. They see what everybody else is obsessed with. They go on social media. The same thing is happening with hitting now. You know, a ground ball single that drives in 2 runs, a kid is going to be disappointed in that because he didn't get the right launch angle. He didn't have the right exit velocity. You know, I'm seeing now guys are trying to voice this nonsense about, you like this one, you're not hitting fungos correctly anymore, you know. It's a new one.
Oh.
Wait till you see this.
I'm not hitting fungos correctly. Can I see that video?
And all the fungos you took.
Oh, okay.
And all the fungos you took were hitting correctly because if you're a third baseman, you need to hit them with top spin. I'm sorry. Because 57% of the balls that get hit to a third baseman get hit with overspin. And if you're hitting the ball to the right side, since 58% of those balls get hit by left-handers, coming off the bat of a righty. I'm serious. This is professional organizations now are entrusting guys, and what they're doing is this kind of hair splitting. This is what I'm telling you, guys. I know guys in organizations that are actually promulgating this kind of really juvenile nonsense, and I can't put it any other way. It's juvenile nonsense.
I totally agree with you. You know, I'm getting a kick out of my shirt because it says "You're killing Ken Arnold" right across. If you can see that, do you see that in your screen? It's because
I see it.
It's "You're killing me, Smalls." I got my "You're killing me, Smalls" shirt on, but it says when I sit back down, "You're killing Ken Arnold," and I got to laugh at that. I didn't notice it at first, but it's pretty hysterical. So,
well, I got my shirt on tonight and 4, baby.
That's right.
Rootin'.
Yep.
Let's go, baby. Yeah. So this is look. I mean, you got to take a look. You think analytics is one thing. If you knew the scope, of it, I'm serious. You would. It's shocking now that I've seen like the process of it and what hitting coordinators and minor league guys have to go through to learn this language and to learn like. You know, the 300 stop a guy from, you know, getting out in front on his front foot and exercises and things you can do in the gym that would preclude that from happening. Like everything has a fix now. You name it, everything has a fix. And you got to know all the fixes and you match the fix to the problem. It really is. So
I lost you there for the last little bit. You broke up.
It's off the charts.
Yeah.
It's off the charts. It's crazy. It's just it's really like Revenge of the Nerds. And I like the data. Don't get me wrong, but come on, really? Fungos? Is that what's next? I'm not inhaling correctly. I'm not exhaling correctly. Really?
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you.
I know. Look, that is not that far fetched. We worked on that in the mid '90s about breathing correctly when you hit the ball. If you weren't breathing out when you hit the ball, they were on you about it. They were like, breathe out like a boxer, you know. And then that was in the mid '90s. So yeah, they've already hit that. So that's not anything.
Trung, you're a man of good taste, Trung.
I know, but which shirt is he wearing? Is he wearing "You're Killing Me, Smalls" or is he wearing a Queen shirt? That's what I want to know. Which shirt is it? Is it my shirt or is it Tommy's?
Well, he said preach on Weber, so
I guess
he should be wearing my shirt because it's so much cooler.
I know.
And it's actually topical because the Oscars are tonight. And
okay. Well, I thought my shirt was topical. It's baseball. You're killing me, Smalls. It's like Sandlot, one of the greatest baseball movies ever. All right, so. Anyway, I'm watching these videos online, Tommy, just to stay on this point for a little bit longer. I'm watching these videos, and I'm seeing these guys come on there, and they're preaching this stuff, and I'm like, okay, fine, that's your opinion, but then I go into and I read the comments. I don't get involved in the comments because I don't start commenting because I'm not going to get anywhere with these people. But I read the comments, and if somebody disagrees with them, or boom, they attack them.
Oh,
they attack them. Like,
oh,
how many years have you been coaching, or how long did you play? Did you make it to the big leagues?
Right.
Well, I made it to the big leagues.
They're Scientologists.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Scientologists.
Whoa! I'm like, really, pal?
It's a cult.
I'm looking at this guy, and he's teaching, and I'm not gonna say who it is, but he's teaching a swing where he does a drill where he has the hitter hitting like
that's big,
like this,
like
this.
Right. That's a big one.
And I'm like, what in the hell is that?
Does he have the PVC pipe?
Yes,
PVC
yes,
pipe?
yes. Up against the kickboxing bag. He's hitting, and he's like this. I'm like, what the hell?
First of all, you can teach whatever you want to a guy who's in the big leagues because they have big league ability. Here's a news flash for you, okay? Most players are terrible. They can't even catch and throw the ball.
Thank you.
This nonsense that you could somehow uncover the Rosetta ball and unlock and unleash all this ability is absurd. Kids can't have a catch. Okay, I don't know where these guys play or who they're seeing, but most players are awful. I'm sorry. And if we can't start there, then it's a conversation that's a non-starter.
And then the bat angle. So here's on level, right? So if you see my pen in the thing right now,
right.
So this is belt high fastball, right? And here is what they're and they're telling me this is a better swing path, and this is going to make more contact in the hitting zone if their bat is like this coming through the hitting zone.
Right. Straight up.
Yeah. Good luck trying to hit a ball up with your bat like that, coming through the hitting zone like that every time. And I'm like, I don't understand it. I mean, I understand an adjustment if the ball's down low. If the ball's down low, your bat's going to go in that direction. If the ball's up high, your bat's going to come more in this direction, right? But you've got to – I just don't understand this being taught as the entire swing path the entire time.
The proof of the in the eating. Show me where all the great hitters are. Because what I should be seeing now is everybody hitting 500 in high school and hitting 12 home runs in 20 games and hitting – you know what? I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that. So either there's a mass ignoring of this instruction, or the instruction's not yielding, or instruction hasn't yielded over the last 130 years, or however long they've been playing the stupid game.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw my comment on the Pro Prep page today about Bruce Lee having no way as way, and then the ego and the arrogance of being right all the time, because it's improbable that you're going to be right 100% of the time. Even
music's
if you are.
About,
yeah,
man, that's what the music's about. That's why it's all the same lesson. It's not the problem with baseball that's been foisted on people that baseball is unique. It's not. You learn it the same way you learn anything else. Rules apply to baseball that apply to the piano or to the violin or to riding a motorcycle or to being a race car driver. All the rules apply. It's nothing special. You better be able to be in balance. You better have balance, right? That's a universal theme, okay? You got to kind of have pretty good timing, okay? And you better pay attention, right? Which is something that nobody can do anymore because games, so they don't develop an attention span, so their ability to concentrate has atrophied. Another thing you notice about the modern player, they don't focus because they have never developed that skill of watching something for a long period of time. Baseball is a game you got to watch for a long period of time. It's not an action game.
No, it's not. There's very little action. You know, there's a lot of standing around. Boom, something happens. Boom.
Right.
Then you stand around, something happens. Like you said, it's the suspense of it.
Right.
The one thing I'd like to add to what you said about the last 3 points you made, you also need to be able to adjust.
Adapt.
Yes. And on the fly, like almost instantaneously as you're in an at-bat or, you're pitching.
cooperate.
Yeah.
He's not very cooperative, the pitcher.
No, usually very, very, very uncooperative. I found in my career, he was very, especially.
But I'll say this though. I'll say this. This had to happen because you can't escape the culture. We're an increasingly juvenile culture. So this is a very juvenile kind of approach. Like, just because you want it to be doesn't mean it's going to be. That's how juveniles are. And the more and more I look at this, the more the word juvenile comes up. Like, I'm going to make this happen even though it makes absolutely no sense. It's going to happen anyway. Even though there are no results, my theory is valid. I'm going to call it science. I'm going to go on Twitter, and I'm going to bully anybody who has any questions at all about what my techniques are, which is of scientific.
Yeah, I mean it's gotten to the point I can't even listen to these things. I look for things to send my guys to watch, and I can't. I'm just like, I can't send that to this. I don't know what they're going to get out of it. You don't believe in the, what do they call it, reverse barrel acceleration? Yeah, like it's a what did I hear the other day? It's it's not a carousel. It's a merry-go-round swing. It's a merry-go-round swing. That's the new. Yeah, he called it a merry-go-round. Not a merry.
I call
not a merry-go-round. What do you call it? He called it a Ferris wheel. Ferris wheel. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I call it? A house of horrors. Okay,
yes.
I call it the house of horrors. Oh my God! Imagine being, and as we talk, imagine being a player. Like, what a drag this must be. Imagine you're a player. All you want to do is play, and some boob, when you're 14 years old, wants to make you hit pop-ups, and I'm sorry, feel for the player. I really do. It can't be a lot of fun.
No.
Sorry.
It's a chore. That's what I said today on the page. I said it's a shame that it's become a chore for so many kids and not a game. It's not a game anymore. It's a chore, and that's what I see. And I want to send my guys out there to be able to succeed, and teaching them certain things to make better contact, to put the ball in play, to catch the ball, to be able to make a good throw. Those are important to me. That's it. I want them to be able to succeed. And if I'm not teaching them those things, I'm not doing a good job as a coach. And what I'm seeing from these guys is, and what I'm hearing is, yeah, it's all about they're focusing on offense. They don't need to. We need to hit. We don't need to work on defense. We need to hit. We need to, launch angle. We need to hit the ball in the air. We need to add launch angle, exit velocity, and everything else. Except, hey, how about we make contact? How about we do that? So.
Do you really need to know the exit velocity to know that one ball is hit hard?
I don't.
Do you think that any home runs, you think a double off the right center field fence could be hit at 31 miles an hour?
No, probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Right? But does it really matter? If it goes off the right center field fence, you see all you need to know. The miles per hour is gratuitous. It doesn't really add to your understanding of a hard hit ball where your batter runner winds up at second base. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
I
thought that's all that matters.
Yeah, I didn't need to know that Ruben Sierra, when he smoked a line drive at me, I didn't need to know its exit velocity.
Right,
all I knew was it was smoked.
To know that you should get out of the way.
Yeah. I either catch this or it kills me. One or the other. So.
And Trung is a city kid, and he brings up a great point.
He does.
No, and I will argue this forever. You want to know why nobody can play? Because nobody's allowed to play on their own. There are no more pickup games, stickball, tennis ball, box ball, running base. Forget it. You know why? Because in our arrogance, we actually believe that we know better. If I hear one more time somebody say, I got to coach my kid because, nobody else could. Shut up. The best thing you could ever do is let your kid be coached by somebody else, because here's the deal. Unless he's out playing all the time anyway, it doesn't matter what you teach him. He's going to suck. Sorry. He's got Ken Griffey's genetics. He's going to suck because he's not going to play enough. The only way they can play enough is if they play with each other.
Yeah,
that's what the Latin kid does.
I can't be with my kid 24 hours a day. You know, he gets home from school.
Nor would you want
here.
to be.
No, he should be outside playing with his friends. Yeah, he should be. Yeah, but people try to do that now. They, like
it's creepy.
They kind of try to control everything the kid does. Schedule this, schedule that, schedule here.
Right. You'll be able in our lifetime. You'll be able to marry your kid. Believe me, it'll start. Yeah. People are really creepy.
Victor Coco says, "Are we excited about the Major League Baseball season beginning soon?"
No.
You know what? I am, because it's a new start for everybody. You know, it's a new start.
I'm anxious. I'm eager to see. I'm actually eager to see the Mets.
Are you? Well, I'm actually eager to see if Bryce Harper ever signs. Is he ever going to sign, this guy? What the hell's going on? So I don't know.
You know one thing. He's not making it any easier for himself by waiting any longer. You don't increase your value by waiting longer, because obviously you don't get more valuable the longer it takes. No. Sorry. Because obviously you're not getting what you want, which means whoever's negotiating isn't giving you your price. So I guess teams are willing at a certain price to not take you.
Yeah, that's
not a good place to be in.
He's looking for $400 million, and I'm pretty sure the Phillies are like, no, we're not giving you that. So, but if we do,
million, you got to have your head examined.
Yeah, if we do give you that, if we do give you $400 million, or let's say $40 million a season, we're not going to do it for 10 years. So we'll do it for 5.
Right, I give him $40 million for 3 years.
Yeah, I would do that too.
I might do that,
but not 10. Not 10. No, 10.
I'm not giving anybody 10 years. I'm not giving anybody 10 years.
That's ridiculous.
That's not happening.
But Manny Machado got $300 for 10, and that's guaranteed money. I just think he committed the crime of the century. Just to be honest.
The Mets are going to wind up paying David Wright $92 million for services he does not render.
Yep, we talked about that last week. Yeah, he is. Andy Diorio is like, yes, Webbs, now you're talking. You're excited to see the Mets. Are you really?
No, I'm not excited. I'm not excited to see the Mets. I just think the Mets are interesting to me because even though they were terrible last year, you're never as bad as you look when you're on your worst day. And the National League stinks. And if you pitch well, you could tread water. The only problem with the Mets, and Bobby Kahn, that's actually not true, but I'll go into that. I just went into that with my graduate school class at St. John's. But with the Mets, they have two problems. They're old, and they have to get off to a good start. If they don't, I think it could be a disastrous year. But they need to tread water and be close, and they can't have anybody like the Braves go 37-12 and jump way out ahead of them, because I don't think the Mets will be able to chase.
Yeah.
But they do have enough pitching such that they can tread water in a league where they don't score, and you could kind of keep it close. But they are old. That's scary. When you got Todd Frazier, I don't know, man. You got a lot of Cano. They have a lot of guys that have a lot of mileage on them.
So run this by me, Webbs. Why is that not true about Bonilla collecting anymore?
The Mets don't pay Bobby Bonilla. What Bobby Bonilla did, Bobby Bonilla's wife, I believe, was a lawyer. What Bobby Bonilla did was brilliant. His wife knew that during his playing days, they didn't need a lot of money. So what they did was they took a lump sum of the deal that he got, and they deferred payment. So they said, listen, don't start paying us now. Start paying us when Bobby Bonilla is 35 or 37, whatever that might be. Mm-hmm. Well, what happens to that gigantic sum of money when it's placed in an annuity is it grows exponentially. Boom, boom, boom. Yep. And then it starts to pay
out, yeah.
At a time in your career when you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
So what he's getting is the benefit of a very, very well put together contract, not of his own doing, because he thinks Moby Dick's of an aerial disease. That guy, he's as stupid as the day is long. But his wife and his agent put together a brilliant deal so that he was never going to be a guy who ran out of money, and he never will be. It was a brilliant deal. The Mets are not – his contract didn't extend this long. The structure of his contract made it possible for him to take that money, have it grow, and then pay him an annuity for the rest of his, well, not for the rest of his life, but
Right,
for a very long time.
Yeah, for many years after his
I
playing
mean,
career was
Bonilla's
over.
got to be mid-50s, in his 50s, right?
He's my age, yeah. He's early 50s, maybe.
Okay,
Yeah.
so early 50s, then his pension kicks in.
Yeah.
Not bad.
No, that's not bad at all. Good for him. Right? Good for him. He was one
I don't
big
know
dude,
if
though.
I mean, it was a bad contract, perhaps, because Bobby Bonilla was a dog.
Yeah. He was
but-
big, though. He was huge.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he was just a dog,
Yeah.
though. He was such
Yeah.
a bad guy. But, he was smart.
Yeah. No, he was. Yeah, and Bob, yes, Bob Kahn, I think we just hit on that, or Weber just did. Yeah, he was a bad guy. It was a poor contract by the Mets because they signed him to a huge deal. Even though
No
it was
worse
different.
than Mo Vaughn.
Yeah. Oh, Mo Vaughn. That was a bad deal. And he was a
Wow.
total guy that swung. His swing was in the
Oh, my
hitting zone
God.
for like that much time. I can't believe
was
anybody paid that
He
guy.
showed up in spring training. He was like 330 pounds. I mean, he was just another guy. Got the money and just
shut it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why you can't. That's why you have to be. These organizations are getting smarter. They are. They're not acting like fans anymore. They're not going to throw, 39. They're not going to make the Jorge Posada deal where they give him $30 million for 3 years at the end of his career when he had ostensibly no value. That's or Todd Frazier, they give him a $20 million a year for $20 million for 2 years. Why would you pay
Todd
Todd Frazier
Frazier?
$20 million for 2 years?
I could find
he's
I could
all right.
I could find somebody for $5 million a year is just as good as he is. Going to put up the same numbers. Yes, it's Andy.
The Mets don't pay him.
Yeah, it's the
The
annuity
pays
yeah,
him.
which the Mets, which is set up through
Right.
the Mets, is set up
Right.
through that contract. Yeah, but it was designed that way.
It happened. Look, I have players, like we had a couple of guys sign high last year, and I spoke to their parents and I said the same thing. Don't take the money. Defer the money. Your kid is 22 years old. He's going to play minor league baseball for 3 or 4 years, and then either make the
gonna be
major
in the
leagues
big
or quit.
leagues. Yeah.
Don't start taking the money until he's 30 years old. He doesn't need the money. And by the time he's 30, that money might double and be able to pay him until he's 50.
Yeah.
It's the same premise.
Yep. Dan Ford, I have no idea if the owners are pissed at San Diego. I would assume some are. But again, until Major League Baseball and the owners get together and say that we're not going to do this anymore, but you see that happen, you're going to see a huge strike, guaranteed. There will be a strike. So I don't know. Are the owners pissed? I don't know, because I'm pretty sure the Philadelphia Phillies are going to throw almost $400 million at Harper this week. That contract's going to be ridiculous.
Wow.
So, and I don't know why. I'm a Philly fan. I don't want to see him do it. I'm glad they didn't give it to Machado, $300 million. But I'd say forget it. No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. If I was the Phillies, and as a Phillies fan, I would not give anybody $400 million. Nope. No way.
Especially in the National League, man. I don't know. In the National League, if you just get some pitching and you play enough defense, you could really go a long way. You don't need to invest such a high percentage of your payroll in one guy.
Yeah, it's not. Why? What for? What's the point? Anyway, Webbs, we've been on for over an hour now. I mean, we had a little bit of a glitch in the beginning.
We had a glitch.
We had a glitch. It was a glitch in the Matrix. There was a glitch in the Matrix. Neo wasn't doing his job. I don't know. But it was good to talk to you on Sunday night. I know the Oscars are going on. I might go upstairs and watch a little bit with the wife. Spend a little time. I know. I hope they win. I hope Rami Malek wins, and they win for sound and song, score, not score. They're gonna win for sound mixing and sound editing. I think Bohemian Rhapsody. That'll be great.
I don't care about those. I just want Rami Malek to win. That's all.
Oh, he's gonna win. He's gonna win. It was a fun movie. Really fun. The timeline was a little out of whack. The timeline was a little out of whack, but that didn't bother me. It was enjoyable. I liked the story.
It's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. So, it's a movie. So, Tommy, I will see you next week. I will actually be on the road. I will be in Richmond, Virginia next week on Sunday night. Yeah, fancy pants in it. But I will. I think we're going to do it. We'll do it from the hotel room. I'll set it up. I'll run it through my computer, and we'll do it from the hotel down there if we have good signals. That's the key. We need to have a good signal. But I thank you for coming on.
Good night.
And
thanks,
good night.
boys.
Yep,
Be well.
thanks.
Love
Thanks.
you, man. Be
Love
good.
you too.
Take care.
I will see you.